John Donne that talks about the oneness of lovers. Moving of the earth. Now we comes to a little bit intricate idea. As I told you, metaphysical poetry, one of its features, it reflects to metaphors, images, and ideas that are not common, that are not like any other kind of poetry. They try to bring ideas. For example, poets in England refer to images from India, for example, or from a different universe or a different cosmos. So the poet says, moving of the earth, it brings harms and fears. When the earth moves, he means earthquakes, zalazil. When the earth moves, what do we have? We have harms, أذى. يصير تهدم، يصير قتل، يصير ناس تخسر أموالها أرواحها في هيك حوادث. And it fears. تشوفوا الناس شلون تصاب بالذعر. It's a horrible situation. Man reckon what it did and meant. والناس, people, the human beings, they know. They have an idea. What is this? What do we feel about this incident, and what it does mean? But there is a contradiction as far as we have. But trepidation of the spheres, trepidation of the spheres, the movement of the spheres, al-akwan. What about this trepidation of the spheres, Mr. Donne? Through the greater far, it's innocent. Greater far is innocent. So the movement of the earth where we live, where we exist, although it is small, it's very small. You know, زلزال يحدث في بلد معين مقارنة مع عاصفة كونية تحدث في كون خارج المنظومة مالتنا تعتبر لا شيء، ماكو مقارنة بيناتهن. So the poet tries to compare these two things. The comparison between these two images is supposed to be clear. Sometimes things do not seem the way they are. So a simple earthquake on land, on our earth, cannot be compared to a kind of a storm in the outside universe. So ارتعاد أو حركة الأكوان على الرغم من أنه هي كبيرة وعملاقة، ولكنها ما دام بعيدة عن الحركة مالتنا وحياتنا. So it is compared أو it is considered innocent، فشي بريء بسيط ما يأثر علينا مقارنة مع الزلازل اللي احنا نعيشها. Dull sublunary lovers. Dull sublunary lovers. Sublunary means related to the moon. Lunar يعني قمري. Dull sublunary lovers love. The love of those people, a reflection يعني to the people who exist on earth, whose soul is sense. اللي الروح مالتهم هي عبارة عن كتلة من الحواس. They cannot admit، لا يمكنهم أن يعترفوا ب absence, because it doth remove those things which elemented it. So the poet here refers to two kinds of love: the sublunary lovers, whose love depend on the physical side, the physical aspect of love, on the senses only depends on al-hawas, yani a kind of love which is considered love because the lovers are together, because the lovers are living under one roof. But if they depart, or if they are separated from each other, what happens next? This will be referred to later. So the poet says, دول common lovers اللي love مالتهم ما يعترف بالغياب. يعني إذا غاب الإنسان أو lover, أكيد love will lose its own sense. So this kind of love is different than the poet's love. Sublunary lovers love, the love of those people whose love is only depending on senses. This kind of love cannot exist, cannot remain strong when there is absence, when the lover is absent, when he moves away. Why, Donne? Because it doth remove those things. لأنه this absence will remove the things that elemented, that constituted this love. هذا physical love, it is available because the two lovers are living together. So when one person is removed, the things that element this love, that constitute this love, will be also removed. So this love will be influenced, it will be affected. That's why it is one of the reasons to its, let's say, destruction. So this kind of love is different from Donne's love, because Donne's love admits absence. He still loves his lady even though he is absent, and he is sure that his lady will still love him even though he is absent, because their love is not sublunary, and it does not only depend on senses, it depends on the soul as well. Their love is spiritual love. It's not only physical or sensual. Sense is related to sensual, physical love. So this kind of love is different than Donne's love. Then the next stanza is a complement to this stanza. So here in this stanza, the two lovers' love is sensual. It depends on the senses, and it will come to an end one day because it does not admit absence. When one person moves away, love will be influenced. But when we compare it to the next stanza, but we, by a love so much refined, we, you and me, according to a love which is refined, naqi, pure, valuable love, that ourselves know not what it is. We don't even know what kind of love, because of its, let's say, because of its strength, because of its spirituality, because of its significance, its importance. We cannot even define such a kind of love. We are inner assured, we are certain from within, from inside of the mind, that we are let's say assured, that we know clearly. We do not pay much attention, we care less, we give less care to the physical things, to the eyes, to the lips, to the hands. So we are not going to miss these things because we do not pay attention to the eyes, to the lips, to the hands. So these are the senses, as he referred earlier, whose soul is sense. Sense means eyes, lips, hands, seeing, kissing, touching, missing, these things. So these things compose, or let's say comprise, the physical love. But the poet and his beloved, they do not pay attention, they care less for these things. So their love is refined, is spiritual. That's why it will remain forever. So the poet now is talking his beloved and reminding her of the kind of love that they have. Then he moves to another stanza. Our two souls, therefore, which are one. Then he confirms the idea of the oneness of the lovers. Our two souls are one soul. We are one. We are not two. Though I must go and endure not yet a breach. Even though I should go, because he had to leave the country for some business. Though I must go, على الرغم من انه اني لازم اروح واسافر, endure not yet a breach, انا ما اقدر اتحمل حتى لو خرق بسيط في هذا الحب, في هذه العلاقة, في هذا البوند, الرابط اللي يربطه مع his own beloved. A breach but an expansion, ولكن هذا اللي راح يصير بيناتنا اذا انا سافرت ما راح يصير خرق او كسر او قطع, راح يصير شنو؟ expansion, توسع. هنا يجي عندنا الكونسيت. Like gold to airy thinness bead, just like a gold which is beaten by a hammer. فهذا الجولد it is not broken, ما راح ينكسر او ينخرق او ينقطع, بس شنو راح يصير؟ راح يتوسع. إذا شفنا قطعة ذهب وطرقنا بالمطرقة عليها بشاكوش راح نشوفوها تتوسع, but still it is gold, ولكن لا يزال هذا هو ذهب. So it is the poet compares the value, of course, gold is a valuable metal. So he is referring to the value of his expansion, no matter what he leaves or where he leaves. حتى لو غادر بعيدا وسافر اتحرك من المنطقة مالته أو البلد مالته, هذا ما راح يشكل أي قطيعة أو خرق بين ذولا التو لافرز. على العكس يمثل وكأنه مطرقة تلزمها وتوسع بها قطعة من الذهب. يعني شوفوا إيش قد تمتد مسافة, لا تزال ثمينة ومحتفظة بقيمتها. This kind of conceit is one of the most famous images of conceit in English poetry, in English metaphysical poetry. Whenever we write conceit, we have this stanza, this quatrain that expresses and explains the philosophy of conceit. If they be two, they are two. So if we should consider those two lovers are two, yes, they are two. They are two. Okay, no problem. Now he refers to the oneness of lovers, but he says نفترض جدلا هم two. Okay, أقترح وأتفق معك إنه هم ذولي two. But the comparison is they are compared to something as stiff twin compasses are two. Those two lovers, they are just like the stiff twin compasses, مثل الأرجل الاثنين مال الفرجال. مو تشوفوها اثنين, هي قطعة واحدة ومفتوحة من جوا ومجموعة من فوق. هذا رفرنس إلى الكونسيت, المقارنة بين شيئين مختلفة تماما, مقارنة بين فرجال و lovers. ماكو وجه للمقارنة, but the poet manages to find a connection. وأيضا هذا يذكرنا بأنه الpoet refers أو is influenced by what runs in the society. أكو فد شيء ابتكر في ذلك الوقت موجود أو موجود ممكن سابقا, فإلى إشارة ب الشعر الفترة تلك. That's why we find the compass في هذا اللاين. So if they be